And we're live. Welcome to the American Greed Factory podcast. I'm Conlon.
I'm Matt.
We're back for another thing, for all the stuff we forgot to talk about before.
Yeah, this is a continuation, so go back and listen to the first episode if you have. I think you did forget how long it was. If you have some time to kill. I feel like on kidney dialysis or you're waiting for an organ transplant, whatever. There's plenty of time to listen.
Go back 14 years ago.
Yeah, because as they say, I learned this today, the last sense to go when you're dying is your hearing. So even if you're dying, you don't have an excuse. You should listen to this. You know?
That's weird.
It is. I listened to a 2.5 hour long podcast about hospice care and palliative care today because Sam Harris decided to do that, and I was like, that's interesting. So yeah.
I just know like your hearing never gets better, so you have to protect it. So
yeah, like if you lose it, you're not getting it back. Although I did a story, was it last fall? This couple in I think it's Center Point. I can't remember. It doesn't really matter where they live, but anyways, like they got cochlear implants, but like cochlear implants now are like having a smartphone in your ear. Like you have like remotes and like they can do a bunch of weird stuff. Like it's an app on their phone and like they can like almost translate languages weirdly. And like they can mute some people they don't want to talk to and listen to other people. It's kind of strange, but yeah.
Yeah, I had some headphones or some earmuffs that they have a microphone on the outside, so that like they protect you from the sound, but allows you to still hear people. And so I had that in the shop the other day when everyone was pounding on sheet metal when they're making the plenums for the HVAC furnaces or for the furnaces. And
it sounds like that'd get pretty loud.
Oh yeah, I was the only one that put those on, and so yeah, it's like because you hear it like cut out when it's like too loud, even though it's like you're just listening to microphone, so it's already protecting you from the outside noise, but it's also still protecting you from how it sounds too, and like you hear it kind of like disappear, like
yeah,
it's like oh yeah, that was way too loud, and nobody else here has hearing protection. But then like the guy I was like working with was like just talking to me, and it's like I was just talking back to him because I could hear him, so. And so it was nice because those earmuffs were only like $43, and I was looking to get like fancier ones that were like $300. It's like, no, it's not necessary.
What brand is that one that you got?
Walkers.
Walker, like Walker Texas Ranger Walker.
I mean, spelling, yes, no relation though.
There's like a lot of spinning jump kicks, and there's Walker told me I have AIDS. Oh, okay, great.
He had no emotion in his eyes.
Yeah, he didn't read that very well. Like apparently he doesn't know what AIDS is, so it didn't affect him. He's like, oh, whatever he said I have, it's cool, it's fine.
Did I ever tell you the story about like Chuck Norris's theory on acting?
No, what is it?
Oh, okay, so I mean, I got this from the Action Boys, which is a better podcast. So, but it's behind a paywall. So
this is free, so you get what you pay for, everybody. If you want to pay for us, we'll give our A game, but we're just going through the motions right now. But if you pay us, you're gonna get more. Just so you know.
Yeah, go to verhoeveneffect.com. You can donate to our other podcasts.
I recommend it. It's a good podcast. I listen to the podcast on a regular basis. It's much more focused when I'm on a podcast. I just ramble. That's what I do. And occasionally I stumble into something coherent, but
yeah. You can also go to Angry Bob's Film for Normal Guys Review.com.
That's a real website. Wow.
I bought it just to redirect to the to
That's pretty funny. Like, has anybody stumbled upon that by accident? They're like, "What is this?"
I don't know.
I'm looking for Angry Bob's. What is this noise? Like, I don't want to listen to this.
Nathan made it up in the middle of the podcast, and like as a joke, I used a different I can't remember, registrar or whatever to buy the website.
Oh, okay.
And so I was just trying that out. So yeah, for $12 a year, I now own.
I think I'd pay double that per year for that. Yeah, that's definitely worth it.
Well, I did have something in my mind where I would like create a fake like review page for like all the movies we do, and it would just be Angry Bob. but like it was like it's like, what am I just gonna try to like rip off Red Letter Media, and they don't even do the Plinkett review stuff anymore. So and also like it'd be like, I didn't know how to like, because it'd be easy just be like just like some like shithead conservative and like his take on like modern movies and stuff like that, but like I was trying to like find like a different route where you could like kind of do the same thing but not be so toxic, where it's like,
Yeah, it's still absurdist, but not quite as like QAnon based, I guess.
yeah. The only thing I could think of is like, if it's a movie without a gun, he would just like, if this character had a gun, this problem could be solved way easier. And if the character does have a gun, he would complain about the character not having a bigger gun.
Yeah, doesn't he know that's not going to stop anybody? He's not even that good of a guy. It's a good guy with a gun. He's more of an anti-hero. We can't trust him. Like, it's that kind of thing. It's like, he's unreliable. Yeah,
that's an irresponsibly small gun.
Yeah, it's too small. The bullets are not hollow point, and morally he has no compass. Well, what are we supposed to do?
So yeah, you can see like, yeah, you can, in some ways it almost writes itself and doesn't have to make sense, but I'm like, it's too much work and nobody will follow it anyway. So, but
I mean, it's a good thought exercise and good practice for making up things. So why not? I'm trying to teach my son who's 5 to just make up random things, and he's been doing that today, and that's fun. when he walks up to some random person at Aldi, and they're like next to the hot dogs, and he goes like, "You like hot dogs, huh? You know who else likes hot dogs?" And he just points at a random person, and I go, "What are you doing?" Yeah, he did. Yeah, and the lady was like, "Who are you?" And he just left. I'm like, "Okay." He just went to the next aisle. I'm like, "All right, man, let's not do that." I don't know why we're doing that, but
he's
sure.
doing UCB crowd work.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm like, well, I guess start them while they're young. Why not? Like, that'd be cool. Why not? It'd be cool if he'd end up in UCB. That'd be fun. It's like, oh, all right.
No, you need to be yes-anding.
Yeah, I was yes-anding. He was telling me on the way home that Kermit the Frog didn't know he was a frog for the first 39,000 years he was alive. And I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, most people don't know, but Kermit the Frog is ancient. And I'm like, okay. Like, whatever, man. I don't know where you're getting this from, but sure, why not?
Well, the more specific the number, the funnier it is.
Yeah, 39,000 is a very odd number to pick. And I was trying to get him to, like, I was going along with it. I'm like, what made him, like, know that he was a frog? And he goes, he finally stopped looking at his dick and noticed he was green. I was like, okay. And I'm like, okay, let's not do that around other people. I think it's funny, but maybe don't do that at kindergarten.
What color is his dick?
Yeah, I should have asked that question. What was I thinking? I just assumed it was lipstick colored. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I'll ask him that later and let you know. That's for next week if people want to tune in. That's called the deep tease.
He's like, no, it's also green. He just didn't stop looking at it.
Yeah, he just looked at it so much that his vision blurred and it turned into all those like stars and things, and you can't see color there. So he's like, "Oh, I'm a person. It's fine."
So
he also said Gonzo was born out of a treasure chest and he likes chickens too much. And I'm like, okay, like why not?
Mad Libs can be funny sometimes too. So.
Oh yeah, occasionally, yeah. Even algorithms can come up with those. So, yeah. Apparently there's a book that I just heard about the other day, and maybe you've heard of this, but there's like companies or like AI that like cheat on people's homework for them and write term papers and stuff. And there's a book where they just purposely gave these AI things the most absurd like paper assignments, and they wrote them and they're like collected in one book, and they're pretty damn funny. They make absolutely no sense, but they're hilarious.
Yeah.
Like Titanic the musical,
Oh, what is it? Yeah, there's like I think it's like AI dungeon or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And it's kind of like a D&D setup, and you can just like write prompts into it, and it'll kick back stories to you.
That's entertaining.
And yeah, and it'll try to keep up with you, and it just kind of like mirrors you in weird ways.
That's fun. Artificial intelligence is like something I don't know a lot about, but it's interesting. Like, do you know anything about like AI art? That's a big thing right now, I guess.
Yeah. That's crap. I forget what yeah, it's called like, yeah, I use the program. There's a thing where you can just put in random things, where you put like Metal Gear Solid Kermit the Frog, and then it'll like make Kermit the Frog, but like put it in like the original Metal Gear Solid kind of like PlayStation graphic style. At least it'll attempt to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always like, there's always something off, but there's always something recognizable. It's like, okay, it's hitting that. It's like, it's doing that in a few seconds better than I could do in like a whole day of trying to recreate that image. But
That's pretty funny though. So you can just like put the most random thing, like, all right, what are you gonna show me? Let's see this. Like Swedish Chef, 50 Shades of Grey, Basquiat. Like, all right, cool.
yeah. Yeah, there's some stuff I saw like where like people are, if like like some image like won some art contest and it was like AI assisted, and so I think they disqualified it, or they're going to next time. So that's like an interesting thing. There's also like I've seen stuff with cartoons where they can do AI assisted, where like they'll bump up the frame rate to 60 frames per second, and the AI will interpolate in between animations and sort of like draw stuff in between so it looks smoother and it's a higher frame rate. That stuff looks pretty neat, where it's like it doesn't, it just looks like oh wow, this was like heavily animated, rather than it's like computers at work here.
That's funny. I guess like, how do you like, is this websites you go to and find this stuff, or like how do you do this kind of stuff?
Well, that stuff I just talked about, like that's some programs you got to get. But yeah, the one where you just enter in random stuff. Let me see. It's DALL-E Mini is what it's called. And there's there's other versions of it.
That's the best one.
Well, that's just the one I know. So what you want? You wanted what? Fozzie Bear.
Yeah, Fozzie Bear. Yeah, Van Gogh's Starry Night, but with Fozzie Bear.
All right.
Sure, wouldn't make any sense because there's no people in Starry Night. But
I'm not. This might be a different one. It's like, it's crayon, but with the A spelled with an AI. So, and
that's
highlighted.
interesting.
But yeah, it just goes through a bunch of images and it tries to do something. I mean, there's been a lot of stuff where AI assisted stuff where in video games there was a game called No Man's Sky where it's a very small team, like 10 people work for the team, and like they spouted like there's millions of worlds you can go to, and basically they just had the AI create a world, and then they kind of had like a camera, kind of like a sort of like, it's not an actual camera, but they could like kind of bring up a screenshot and kind of look at like what the AI is doing when it's creating worlds, and then they could be like, there's too many green worlds, and then they just kind of adjust the algorithm.
So it's more, it looks better, it doesn't look as weird, I guess.
They'll just say like, that they're just adding their human touch to it, where they're like, there's too much of this, do a little bit something different, and then and so yeah, there was literally millions of worlds, but like some of them, they're just so close to each other that there's like really not a difference. I'd rather have a team of 200 people making bespoke worlds than rather having a million AI driven worlds that are essentially the same.
Yeah, that's a good point. No, that makes sense.
Yeah, I wrote Fozzie Bear Van Gogh, and I got some weird stuff.
I bet. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I imagine
it's mostly
that's gonna be...
it's mostly Fozzie Bear as it's like a puppet, like a teddy bear. It's not really.
Okay.
It's not really
Not
doing
the
Van
actual...
Gogh.
Well, it's trying.
This is a different one. Maybe it's not. I don't have a way of like showing you it right now, so we'll just move on from there, I guess.
Exactly.
I can't even remember how we were originally talking about.
Artificial intelligence, and then we got onto this.
No, it was before that.
Oh, before that.
That's all right.
If you remember, let us know who's watching.
But I went to an IndyCar race this year, so it was the first race I've ever been to.
That's exciting. That's also a loud environment.
Yeah. I brought earplugs, and so yeah, after like the first 4 laps, I'm like, all right, I'm good. Better save my hearing.
And like, I don't need to hear any more of this. It's fine.
Yeah, because I ran 2 races, one on Saturday, one on Sunday this year at the Iowa Speedway.
Oh yeah, Newton. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah, it was. I didn't do all the stuff because they had like, I just got tickets for the race, but they had like whole events there. Like Hy-Vee brought in a bunch of like food trucks, but I didn't go to any of that stuff. That day they had like Gwen Stefani was like, they had like a concert going on. Gwen Stefani was there. Like I didn't know about that stuff.
That's weird. Why was she there?
Because they just Hy-Vee put on a huge event there. Like it
Was
wasn't
this
just
before
racing.
or after they had to lay off a bunch of people? I can't remember.
I don't know.
Because yeah, I'm like, I wonder why. Like they're spending a lot of money getting people like Gwen Stefani to come do the. It's like, do we need Gwen Stefani? Probably not, but it's fine.
I mean, it basically sold out both days, so. But you know, maybe they broke even doing that. But
Yeah, it's possible.
thankfully, I missed the Saturday race where apparently they had Florida Georgia Line there, which is absolutely one of the worst music
gonna
acts
say,
in the world.
I've never like really listened to their music, but I
Don't.
remember. Yeah, I'm not planning on it. I remember a long time ago I had to go to the ticket office at the Alliant Powerhouse, which used to be the Cell Center or whatever the hell it was, because they were like, oh, we want to get all the people waiting in line for Florida Georgia Line tickets. And I'm like, what's that? Like, I'm confused. Like, you don't know who that is? And like, why would I know who that is? Like, everybody knows them. I'm like, well, I don't. And yeah, in the line, there's people there that like didn't even seem to know who they were. They just like knew that the tickets were popular, like hot or whatever. So they're like, yeah, I'm getting tickets. And I'm like, do you know a song? No, not really. I'm like, all right, cool. I always like whenever I cover a story where people are waiting in line. Like I remember when Popeye's Chicken opened on the north side of town. There's people that I'm like, how long is the wait? And they're like 2.5 hours. And I'm just like, for that amount of time, there's one in Waterloo. Drive up there. You won't have to wait 2 hours. It's like, and they're like, I don't want to drive to Waterloo. I want to try it here. I'm like, it's the same thing. Nothing's different.
Why are you angry, Matt, that they're wasting their time on their own accord?
I mean, they can waste their time if they want, but we only have so much time. We're all dying every day. Entropy, destruction, chaos.
Hey, we
everybody blink.
we just watched In Time for the Verhoeven effect. So.
Oh, nice. I've never seen that, but I've heard of it. Is it good?
I liked it. I love the idea of it, but it's
the execution not so much.
No, but I still like the idea of it because I was like, well, I remember when it came out, like I heard so many ideas about it. I was like, this sounds really cool, and then everybody hated it, so I never watched it. So this time I did watch it, and I still think it's cool.
When did that come out? I don't remember.
2011.
Okay. Yeah, for some reason, like I wanted to see it, and I never have, and I don't remember why, but.
It came out like October 28th, so like just before Halloween, which
so there you go.
That seems like a weird time for a movie like that.
That's a weird time for any movie unless it's a Halloween themed movie, I guess. But
yeah.
And this one is not.
I got Black Adam coming out this October, so it doesn't matter anymore.
I don't know. And I was gonna say, like, I guess I've never heard of that character until he started like talking about how he's gonna be that character, and I'm like, I don't know anything about it, but.
Oh no!
It's The Rock, so why not?
Well, maybe I was gonna finish up the. Anyways, I hate Florida Georgia Line because when I was at schooling at my MOS school, all the guys listened to.
My dachshund hates it too. Sorry, one second. I gotta deal with him. 1 second. Keep talking. I'm listening.
So yeah, I was always subject to the Florida Georgia Line, and I hated it. And then one time I was like, all right, well, if they like country music, I was like, all right, let me play music. Because I know they wouldn't like my depressing industrial rock music. So then I brought in some Willie Nelson, and they're like, what's this? I'm like, this is fucking country music.
You don't know Willie Nelson? That's sad. They're like the guy that sells weed? Like, oh, yeah, that guy. Okay, cool.
And so I basically told them, it's like, all right, you can listen to what you want as long as there's not a truck in the song. And so we didn't listen to any music.
Yeah, like, well, I guess all these songs are out. Something about a truck.
Yeah, that's pretty much all pop country music is like people singing about the trucks, singing about fictional parties they're having in cornfields where they're irresponsibly drinking and going home driving drunk, but it's like it's celebrated. It's like it's all a bunch of fucking nonsense.
So I take it you're a fan of Morgan Wallen. Do you know who that is?
I don't know who that is.
You do or don't?
I do not.
Oh, okay. So, quick thing about this isn't really like, that recent, but it's within the last years. I guess it works. But yeah, anyways, he's just like one of these like new like country bro type people, and he was like doing really well. Like, and then there was a video of him and he's drunk saying the N-word, and then like his record label like suspended him and like they stopped playing his album, and since his album at the time is called Dangerous, it's like a double album, and like people were like. They were like, oh, it's fine. They said the N-word. They like his sales went through the roof, and it was like #1 on the charts for country for like I don't know how long. And he's like, his record label, he sold so many records. Like, I guess it's fine that he said the N-word. He said he was sorry, and he's like still back like touring again. And I'm like, well, that's fun. He was also the same guy that he was on SNL during COVID. He was supposed to host it, but he was out in a bar and got COVID, so they had to get a different host that week. And then he came back later in the season. And that was just a weird episode because like the guy has like no charisma, he can't act. I'm like, why did they pick this guy? I don't understand.
Because he's popular, so.
Because he's popular. That's right.
I don't know. That's the weird thing about the whole Nashville scene is like it's so fucking backwards. It's like, why is this so big? It's like because the fucking people that listen to country music still buy CDs.
Yep, they do. They still have physical media, so they're like, yeah, that's why it works.
And so because they have like these kind of like trackable sales and stuff like that, it's like, oh, there's money there. It's like not as much as pop music, but like nobody like buys and listens to. I mean, people still do, but it's
not as much.
It's more reliable for like the Nashville scene for how condensed and limited it is. There's just still like a scene there that's reliable. So it's just a weird thing unto itself. But yeah, I saw the race. It's the smallest oval on the season, so it's an oval track. What's cool about it is that you can see the whole track from no matter where you're sitting, so you can see all the action. The weird thing it is like it takes 30 seconds for them to complete a lap. So like about like 15 laps in, like the leader of the race is already lapping cars.
That's pretty funny.
And things
there's the leader again. Oh man, how do you catch up then at that point?
Yeah, that's the thing. The thing is, it's harder to track it. It's like, all right, where are they? Because they're between so many cars.
Yeah, they're like, I think he's over here, but I don't know.
But I pulled up an app, and there's a way to track it. It's like, okay, he's in this position, and then whenever there's a wreck, then there's a safety car, and so everything gets like reset, and then it starts over again because
okay,
lines up behind the safety car. But yeah, it was pretty neat to watch because the track is so small, it means there's passing like all over the place. Jamie Johnson, who is like fucking terrible at street races, but he comes from NASCAR, and so he's actually in his first year in IndyCar, sometimes they don't let you do the ovals because those are the most dangerous tracks.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't do it his rookie season, but this year he's doing the ovals, and he was actually like doing really well in the ovals, but just sucking on the street tracks. So he was making crazy passes where he's like passing two guys at once with like no room, like on old tires.
That's funny.
I think he finished sixth or fifth that race, which is one of his like best finishes. And Joseph Newgarden, he won the race on Saturday, and he was also in the lead in this race. And then like with like 30 laps to go, like his car just has a malfunction and he crashes in the wall as he crashed out of the lead. It's like, oh man,
that's crazy.
Yeah, and then Pato O'Ward won it. Who's my favorite? He's my favorite driver. He's part of the McLaren team in IndyCar. They're kind of an underdog team that's like has success in IndyCar, so they're just fun to root for. They're also easier they're way easier to spot than like other cars because every car kind of has its own unique like sponsorship, so every car looks different, so it's hard to tell like which teams are or who to who.
Oh, okay.
But also IndyCar is weird because like it's easier in F1 to follow because F1 each team has 2 cars and the cars usually look very similar. At least they all
They're not
have
an IndyCar though.
no, IndyCar, like a team can have like, I think Penske has like 5 drivers on their team and all their cars look different.
That's cool.
And then like I think Chip Ganassi Racing has 4 drivers, and then I think Andretti has 3 drivers, and then McLaren just has 2 drivers, and then there's a bunch of other independent teams that either have like 2 or 1 driver. And then it gets all weird for IndyCar or for the Indy 500 because that's when they'll have like just independent teams and cars will run extra teams just for that weekend. So there'll be like almost like 35 people racing in the Indy 500. But there's usually only 25 in the regular IndyCar race.
And it's cheaper than being in F1, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah, immensely so. But like the racing is way better than IndyCar because for the most part, all the cars are exactly the same. So it is just driving skill that matters. There's 9 different winners this year. Will Power ended up winning the championship this year, and he only won 1 race, but he like finished on the podium on basically every other race. Where you have like Joseph Newgarden, he won like 5 races and still lost the championship.
That's interesting. Huh.
Yeah, it almost like, yeah, and there was probably like about 8 people that had a chance, like, you know, if things went the right way, they probably could have won the championship. But yeah, the racing is just way better in any car because like everybody has a chance at winning. Whereas F1, it's like pretty much nobody.
More competitive.
Yeah. Even though like, but there is still, I think, like top teams in IndyCar because in the past, I think like 15 years, there's only been champions from 3 different teams. So that doesn't seem great, but at least everybody can at least win at least 1 race, not necessarily the championship. Pato O'Ward was pretty close at winning the championship last year, but he lost it to Alex Palou. But so that's why I think like McLaren, like, you know, they just need 1 more. Well, also like Andretti, they haven't won a championship in 10 years, so really it's just Penske and Chip Ganassi Racing that are where the champions come from. So,
those are the bigger teams, yeah.
Yeah, which
they're more well established.
Yeah, more established. They have more technology. They can do things to the cars, like they can change like some of the aero elements in a way, like the body of the car. They can manufacture their own aero elements, but for the most part, they can't do too much to the cars, and they're all essentially the same. And at that point, it's just setup and like how you set up your car for like brake bias, change wing angles and stuff like that. Like that's all, you know, that's kind of the heart of it is like how you set up your car for a race weekend.
That makes sense because tracks are different, and
yeah, and you know, sometimes different driving styles, you know, will bring out success in some, like Jimmy Johnson. He sucks on street tracks, but he can race pretty good on ovals because that's what he did for like 15 years.
He's like, I remember how to do this.
Well, it's crazy in the Indy 500 because he crashed like straight onto the fucking wall. It was like fucking crazy, and like I was like, oh, like, I thought he was dead for a moment for how straight on the crash was in the wall, and then his car just kept spinning because he just kept his foot down on the accelerator no matter what.
He's like, I'm gonna keep going. All right, I'm gonna stop and keep racing.
Yeah, it was crazy.
That's not a thought I would have after I hit a wall head on, but you know what? I think the car can handle it. It's fine.
I think
you need to stop. So. No. It's cool. Just let me keep going. Stop.
And then the interesting thing about IndyCar is like every driver has a chance at winning because like the past couple of, so Will Power's like 41. He won a championship in 2020. Scott Dixon won his 6th championship at 40, and then in between is Alex Palou, who was like 23 when they won the championship. So like both the young guys and the older guys all have a chance at winning the championship. Where in like F1, it's pretty much like once you're past like 28, it's like you're done.
And I was like, you've had your time, and see you later. Going out to pasture.
Yeah, I mean, like Lewis Hamilton, he's like 36 or no, he's 37. So yeah, he'd be seeing like he'd be over the edge. But with modern sports medicine, like they can kind of alleviate some of that stuff, and he's still. I mean, they have like Fernando Alonso. He's still just a crafty veteran. But then like recently you have like Daniel Ricciardo, where it seems like, what the fuck happened to him? And,
oh yeah, I've heard of him, but what happened to him?
He's getting absolutely trounced by his teammate Lando Norris, and they don't know how to and pretty much it is they just have a bad car, and that's it.
Oh yeah, isn't that the helmet behind you, right?
Yeah, that's Lando Norris. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he's trying to change his style to be as competitive with Lando Norris, but he's still Lando Norris is getting to the points in every race, and Daniel Ricciardo is routinely finishing 15th through 20. And he had a year left on his contract, and they basically, we're going to buy you out of a contract and hire a different driver. We're going to hire the reserve driver from another team who fucked up their legal contracts, and then so this guy got to fuck off, and now he's going to be on McLaren next year. Oscar Piastri.
Hey, worked out for that guy.
Yeah. And so
where's Ricardo gonna go then? Is he going somewhere?
The only rumor I heard is that he's going to just take a year off and then come back. But dude, I mean, I've only been in F1 for a minute, so I don't know all the history, but the way things feel like if you get out of F1, it's almost impossible to get back in, because they just like to hire younger people because they're cheaper, and if they're good, then they'll hang their hopes on them, and if they're bad, well, you just get replaced by another young rich kid looking to drive a car. So
just another guy in a fire suit. Who cares? Nobody cares.
Because there is a seat open. There's technically a seat open at Haas because they haven't signed Mick Schumacher for the rest of the year. There's technically one at Alfa Romeo because Zhao Guanyu hasn't been signed up for next year. There's definitely a seat at Alpine that hasn't been filled yet. And there's right now, because that's where Oscar Piastri is supposed to go before McLaren signed them away. And so people are thinking that Pierre Gasly is going to go there because it's a French team and he's a French driver. So they might sign him away from AlphaTauri because there's a clause in his contract that if there's a seat open in a team that's better than them, then he can go there.
Oh, okay.
Because he signed a 3-year extension or something like that. But so they are a better team, so he can go there. And so they're a French team, so they're like, let's get another French driver because they have a French driver, Esteban Ocon. So two French drivers, but apparently they don't like each other, so that wouldn't be. So it might not be a good fit.
I can't fathom why that would be. I'm not sure. One of them's an anti-vaxxer. One isn't. That's what
I don't think there's any anti-vaxxers.
Oh no, I know, probably not.
Although I remember Lewis Hamilton did have a weird thing on his Instagram or whatever, and it's like, wait, are you saying you're anti-vax? He's like, oh wait, no, never mind. No, I didn't mean that.
Don't pay attention to this. It's not there anymore. I took it down. Don't move along. Nothing to worry about. We're good.
So yeah, then there's but basically, but so also Daniel Ricciardo left Renault, which is what the team that Alpine became, which it's just a name change, but essentially it's the exact same thing. So the interesting thing about Alpine, it's the only team that is funded by a government. It's literally funded by the French government.
Weird.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot of stuff where pretty much all the films in France are government funded or subsidized in some way. Including the auto industry, which is Renault's a big part of the French auto industry. So it's just kind of an offshoot of it. So, so Ricciardo left them to go to McLaren. So it seems like they don't want to just bring Ricciardo back in. So like that seat's not available. So the only two seats kind of available are like teams at the back, which he doesn't want to do that because he's already in a bad car and getting his ass
Yeah,
kicked.
he's like, this isn't worth it for me.
So I doubt he's going to go to Haas because also Haas probably can't afford him. And yeah, I mean, I could see him like maybe going to AlphaTauri just because that they're owned by Red Bull, and he'd be back in the Red Bull kind of like swing, and like he just finished out his career there as like just a handy veteran or something like that. But yeah, I have a feeling he's just going to leave and just never go back to F1. Although he's like,
yeah,
they're making some like F1 show he's like supposed to be a part of, so maybe he'll just like become an actor in this F1 show they're making for Apple TV.
Maybe that's interesting, right? Yeah.
Well, no, it's just statistically more. The ovals are more fatal than road courses, so. Because F1's generally very safe. Like the last fatality they had was like it's like 2015, I think, or 2016. The guy survived, and he was like in a coma for like a year, and then eventually just succumbed to his injuries. But it had been like almost since like Ayrton Senna died. I think that was 94 before they had like a fatality, where it's like F1 used to be like 2 people died every year. So
that's and that's dangerous, and people are like, yeah, it's fine. It's the cost of doing business.
Where I think IndyCar had a fatality like I think like 6 or 8 years ago or something like that.
That sounds right, I think.
And I believe the Indy 500 is like the most fatal track in the world. Maybe I know the Nürburgring is also. A lot of people have died on the Nürburgring, but that's mostly because it's such a huge track that when people are driving on it, they go off track, and nobody knows that they went off track, and they just die.
And then they run into them.
Yeah. Well, mostly they just fly off track, hit a tree, and then nobody gets to them to assist them. Anyways, yeah, it's racing. So
went by fast.
IndyCar just wrapped up. It was a really good season. It was very weird because the first race of the season was incredibly boring, and it's like, oh great, is this gonna be a sign for the rest of the season? But the rest of the season was great. So
just a slow start, but it picked up.
They race it in St. Petersburg, Florida, on a literal airport. But even though they have like airport runways they're racing on, the rest of the track is very narrow and it's very hard to pass. So it's pretty much whoever's at the front at the start of the race wins the race, and that's exactly what happened.
That's great.
If you go to a race, remember to bring earplugs and have a good time.
Yeah, like watch out for flying tires.
And bring sunscreen.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's also a good idea.
I did bring sunscreen, but I didn't like sunscreen the top of my hands, and like they started peeling the next day. That's like, what the hell happened?
Oh.
Like, oh,
that's pretty gnarly. I've never done that before.
It was fine. They were just itchy for a couple of days, and you just had to peel off all the dead skin. So.
And then after that, like it's like I have new hands. A stranger's hands. Whose hands are these?
I don't know. The thing I was going to tell you about Chuck Norris is there's a great story that they had on the Action Boys where they talk about him, where apparently Chuck Norris, he would like his favorite actor was Denzel Washington.
Okay.
And apparently something he picked up about Denzel Washington is that like he doesn't move his eyebrows, and so to Chuck Norris, that's the pinnacle of acting. It's just don't move your eyebrows.
That's unbelievable. Look, his eyebrows don't budge. He is that person. Oh, his eyebrow twitched. He lost the thread. What's going on? Okay, cut. We're gonna have to try this again. Your eyebrow moved. God damn it. We're losing daylight. You know how much money we're burning on this? Tell your fucking left eyebrow to stay still. You call yourself a thespian. Yeah, that makes no sense. I'm very like befuddled by that. Like, what? Your eyebrows make you a good actor. If that's the case, then is it Peter Gallagher from the OC that has giant caterpillar eyebrows? He's the best actor of all time. By that metric, I wonder if Chuck Norris has seen any of his work.
He's probably, yeah, well, I don't know. Yeah, he's probably, I think Chuck Norris has been enough melodramas where he'd run into that guy.
You would think, right?
But maybe, I don't know. He seems like, was it Peter Gallagher? Is that his name? He seems like he'd be like a schmarmy, like, business guy that Walker would have to go up against at some point.
Oh, yeah, he could play that easy. Yeah, that would make sense. But yeah, I think they should reboot Walker, Texas Ranger. That would be funny.
They did.
No, I know that, but I'm saying with the original, like with Chuck Norris and like, but he's older and he can't kick anymore, so he just like pretends to and they fall down. I would watch that.
So
you just
fast.
like bring back everybody. Yeah, it's like fast cut editing. Oh, he hit that guy. No, he didn't. That was obviously a stunt double.
No, they just say he's so fast that you don't actually see him do the.
You blinked, you missed it.
Yeah, and you just have the guy do the spin around like he got kicked in the face, but you never actually see the kick.
That would be amazing. I'd watch that. And then also like the middle of the show would just be him advertising Total Gym. Yeah. He's like, you know how I make this look believable? The Total Gym. I use it every day. It's easy. You just sit down. You can do all the muscle groups.
See, I had an idea for like a Chuck Norris like cartoon show for like Adult Swim where it's just like the mythos of Chuck Norris and like all those.
Oh
like,
yeah,
stupid
the whole
jokes.
like Chuck Norris's beard can. Yeah, I like it.
The only I don't think I actually put anything to paper. The only thing I remember of like imagining for it is like he like goes to like punch a guy and like ostensibly kill him. And like his fist like stops like like an inch from his face, but then like the camera keeps zooming in to like a subatomic level where his fist splits an atom and then it creates a like nuclear explosion and kills the guy.
I like that. He's like, what happened? We moved closer to midnight on the doomsday clock. Chuck Norris's goddamn fist. That's awesome. Yeah, I like that idea. You should pitch that. I don't know how you do that, but I would like to see it.
Yeah, no, I don't know anybody to pitch to, so it'll never happen. But
I would just find anyone named Chuck Norris and mail it to them. The law of averages, one of those has to be the right one.
Do you have anything you've been watching lately that you want to talk about?
Do you ever watch Reservation Dogs?
I have not. I vaguely know what it's about.
You should watch it. It's a great show. Did we talk? I'm trying to remember. Did we mention it last week? I can't remember.
No, we did not.
Okay, for some reason I thought we did, but so it's a comedy. If people don't know, it's on FX. It's created by Sterling Harjo. He's from Oklahoma. He's Native American. He's done like short like films and other things, and like most of the cast is like Native Americans, and it's like based on these kids on the reservation in Oklahoma and like them wanting to leave and like go to California after their friend like hangs himself. That part's not funny, but anyways, just the characters are really funny. And then like I'm trying to remember what season of Fargo had the Indian guy, the Native American guy in it that was really good. You know what I'm talking about? I think it was the Patrick Wilson season.
Okay, season 2.
Luke, yeah, that guy. He's in this show. He plays like the reservation like police officer. Like he's incompetent, but he also is in that new show Dark Winds. I can't remember, but I haven't seen that one. Have you seen that one?
I think I heard about it. What's the premise of that?
He's like the lead of that. It's like some kind of murder investigation, like mystery kind of thing. It's supposed to be good, but I haven't watched it.
Does it have is it modern or is it like a specific time period?
It's modern.
Oh, okay.
I think. I don't know. I haven't seen it because I don't have AMC, but yeah, I would like to watch it, but who knows? But anyways, back to Reservation Dogs. It's just really funny because like the writing in it's funny. The kids playing the leads are funny. Just this kind of absurdist and strange. Like the most recent episode was with the guy that plays the police officer on the reservation, like going to the junkyard where the white drug dealer burnout people are like making DMT and they're putting it in a Faygo bottle, and he like drinks it by mistake 'cause he's thirsty and he starts tripping, and the episode ends up with them in the woods with a bunch of like old white guys wearing catfish masks fucking fish because they're in this like secret society. and the police officer's on like tripping, and he pulls his gun on him. He's like, on the ground, fish fuckers, and all this stuff. And then they like tie him and the other guy up because the one drug dealer like felt bad, and like he took some DMT and ran after him. He's like, I feel bad, and he followed him, and they tied him to a tree. And then like the news shows up. It's pretty funny. It's pretty good. It's hard to explain, but Mark Maron was on that too, so
I've heard good things about it, but
yeah, his episode was great because he played like this guy that used to be a drug addict that like runs a halfway house for like Native American teenagers, and he's like weird and awkward, and like one of the kids like in the middle of the night the police come and take him away, and like the kids yelling at the cops like, you like the F kids and blah blah blah, and like the cops are punching him and stuff, and all the other kids wake up and it's awkward when he leaves. He goes, oh guys, anybody else want a group hug? That was something, wasn't it? Anybody hungry? Like, yeah, it's and then he did like a group like discussion thing where they passed around like some kind of Native American artifact, and they're supposed to talk about be honest, and she's the one kid that's one of the leads of the show is like, I don't like you, I think you're horrible, and he's like, well, see, there's truth right there. And just like he's like his Mark Maron told a story about like getting high and like ending up in the woods, and some like Native American spiritual guide saved his life, and he's like half using like weird Native American words, and it's like bullshit. It's pretty funny. But yeah, that was a good episode. But yeah, mostly, I guess I would describe the show like it's a comedy, but like just the writing's really good and it's funny. Like, I don't know if you remember, what's the guy that was skateboarding, drinking ocean spray, listening to, you know what I'm talking about?
Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah, Fleetwood Mac. He's on the show. He was playing like Cheese's uncle in the episode where Cheese gets put in juvenile detention. It starts out with him like sitting in the front yard, and his uncle goes in the house like to get weed or something, and then the cops show up and bust him, and they kick all these weed plants out, and he gets arrested. But like the very first thing in the episode is like he's watching something on his phone, and the guy that from the TikTok videos is like, yeah, you should really follow me on my social. I'm really blowing up right now. I'm really thirsty too. I should go get something to drink. Yeah, that was pretty funny. Like, all right, cool. But
so
yeah,
I was gonna compare it. It's like I was gonna say, is this like Atlanta but with Native Americans? But I haven't seen Atlanta.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Atlanta, so that would be like a bad comparison for.
You haven't seen that either. That's also very good. You should watch that. Yeah. That one's really difficult, like to categorize too, because it changes so much.
Yeah, I hear like each season is like completely different, essentially.
Yeah, like they're on the last season right now, like part 2 of the last season, and like it's really good, but like you never know when you're watching something, you're like, should I take this seriously or what's going on exactly? Like there was an episode that I really liked that I watched multiple times because I liked it so much, but basically it was from the first like part of the last season. I think it was like a couple months ago it was on, but the whole episode is this kid, I think he's like maybe 11 or 12, like this black kid that he gets in trouble at school for like dancing and making fun of kids, and his mom gets fed up with him getting in trouble, so she just is like, human services comes and she just lets him take the kid, and like he ends up at some foster house where these 2 lesbian hippie white women like have adopted all these black kids, and they're like trying to treat them like they're white, and it's just really strange and odd, and they're basically just using the kids for money. And like then they go to this like farmers market because they make the kids like farmless garden and stuff, and they make them all wear like the hat that like Keith Stanfield wears in Get Out, you know, like that white like the fedora, like wicker fedora looking hat.
Yeah.
And they make him like hold a sign that says like my father, something about his father being somewhere, like it was supposed to be about God. And somebody misread it as like his dad's in jail, like, oh, I feel sorry for you because your dad's in jail, and he's like, what the fuck? Yeah. And then like he wants to run away, and all the other kids are like brainwashed, and at the end of the episode, like the 2 moms like are having money problems, and they killed like a human services lady that came to check out the fact that they're like scamming the system, and they have all the kids like in this like little yippy dog in a van, and they and the main kid like makes like pillows look like the kids, and they're gonna drive the van off the of a bridge, and then they look back and he's like there and he jumps out and waves and like doesn't get hurt when he falls out of the van and they die. And it's just and then he like just walks back home at the end and starts doing the dishes when he gets home because he feels bad that he didn't listen to his mom, and his mom's like, "You home?" And he goes, "Yeah, anything to eat?" She's like, "Yeah, I guess there's some spaghetti in there, some shit." And that's the end of the episode. And like the news is playing in the background and showing like the van in the river and the people are dead. It's really funny. But yeah, Donald Glover does that show and he's good. So
yeah.
But it's hard to explain because like some of the episodes like make sense or more like based in reality, and some of them are just like absurdist and like bottle episodes. They're like they're I'm trying to remember what season. There's like Cat Williams, you know who that is, the comedian.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in one season, like one episode, playing someone's like crazy uncle that is wearing like boxers and a wife beater, and he has a pet alligator and it tries to eat him, and like it's just very confusing. But yeah, it's not like something you need to like really know what's going on, because you can just watch each episode like by itself and you get it for the most part. Yeah, it's a good show.
Yeah, I just mean it's just so much stuff out there. And sometimes when you hear something's good, you're like, I'll put that on the back burner, and then you just watch absolute trash instead because that's more disposable. And it's like, I don't want to watch something important right now. I want to watch something disposable.
I have that problem all the time where like I'll start watching something and I'll watch like 1 or 2 episodes and then I don't get back to it for a while.
Yeah.
Like, did you ever watch The Old Man? Do you know that show?
Yeah, I know, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I like that show a lot. I enjoy it because it's like the first TV show he's done since he was a kid and was on Sequest with his dad, or I think it was Sequest or something, See Something. But yeah, it's like Jeff Bridges, but like it's him playing like this old like CIA spook that's still out there, and like he can still just beat everyone's ass, and he has these 2 dogs, and their names are Mike and Carol, which is funny. They're like mastiffs named Mike and Carol. And yeah. And he gets in these like brutal like fights that he barely wins, but and John Lithgow's in it, which is entertaining. So it'd be funnier if he was doing his character from Third Rock from the Sun, but it's not a comedy, so you know. But that's a good show. Like, what other shows have you watched that I maybe haven't seen? Because I don't get to watch a lot of stuff. But what other things are you watching?
Oh, too much, but well, right now
I don't know.
Well, right now Paramount Plus has every Thursday. Actually, there's a bunch of Thursday shows, but they have the new Beavis and Butthead season and the new Star Trek Lower Decks seasons running right now. So those are 2 ones I like. Star Trek Lower Decks is really good. Beavis and Butthead's like pretty intermittent. Or like sometimes
I like
really
the
funny.
Escape Room episode. Did you like that one?
Yeah. There's like the first 2 episodes are alright, and there's like 3 and 4 I think maybe are just like incredibly just meandering and bad, and it doesn't seem, and like the jokes they make in, like, I know it's Beavis and Butthead, but like it's like just seems like they're making cruel jokes and stuff like that, or just like telling people to kill themselves and stuff like that. It's like, I don't think this is the direction where Beavis and Butthead need to go, but then they kind of correct it for the next few. I've been enjoying the last like 3 or so episodes. They also do this weird thing now where they have like what if episodes where it's like, what if Beavis and Butthead like continue to age from like the original Beavis and Butthead episode, and they're like in their 40s or 50s or something, and they're just like,
oh, that's awesome. I gotta watch that. I've only got through like the first 3 episodes because I forgot to keep watching it. Did you see the movie they made, the Universe one?
Yeah, because that's how they explain how it's like Beavis and Butthead in modern times, but they don't age because they have them like time travel. The movie's all right. Like it's a bit meandering, but it's enjoyable. Like there's I think the funniest thing in there is when they just don't, like, somebody tries to, they're like in the future and like, you know, they don't know what cell phones are, and they're like using someone's like cell phone like paywall or whatever on their cell phone to like just buy unlimited nachos and stuff like that. But like they end up at a college and they're like in some kind of history class where they're trying to explain what white privilege is, and they explain it to them, but like they just take the wrong message from it, and they just like like go to like where there's a line for food and stuff like, and they just butt to the front of the line and then go like white privilege coming through.
Yeah, they're like, we get to use this because we're white, and it's like, no, I think you're misunderstanding. This is not what this means. That's great.
Which that's like when Beavis and Butthead is at their best, when it's like they're so stupid that it's funny and it's not like weirdly offensive.
Yeah, it's like they're getting laughed at. The joke's on them. It's not on other people. Yeah. That makes sense.
And there was like kind of an uncomfortable episode like recently where they just like basically kill Beavis and Butthead in both episodes in violent ways. But I mean, they used to do that. Like the very first Beavis and Butthead skit that was on Liquid Television, like they kill Beavis and Butthead by the monster truck kills Mr. Van Driesen, and then the monster truck runs into some porta potties, and then like a god of like crap like goes above the Coliseum and then just drops a bunch of shit and kills everybody in the Coliseum, and that's the very first Beavis and Butthead short.
That's awesome.
And I think they've been killed in others, and there's definitely some other like Halloween episodes where they're implied to be killed, but they're just kind of like, yeah, I forgot that like they weren't like half-hour episodes. They were always like, here's an 8-minute episode, and then here's like 2 music videos they're talking over in between, like, 8-minute episodes. I kind of forgot.
I had forgotten about that part of the show, and I thought that part was really funny whenever they did that. So.
And the interesting thing they do now is like now they're like talking over YouTube videos rather than just talking over music videos. But they still do music videos. Like they did a Post Malone video and stuff like that. So.
Did you see the one? I can't remember which country artist they made fun of. That was really funny.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah, that was great. I was like dying laughing. I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah, I was more just laughing at the concept of the music video itself, where it's just so embarrassing.
Yeah, I'm like, who decided this was a good idea? This makes no sense whatsoever.
Where it's like it's trying to be positive. It's like, look, this overweight man can get it. If he just has confidence, he can get a woman. It's like, it's not that simple.
Yeah, like if only it was, it would be much better for everyone. But that's not the way things work.
So yeah, I've been happy with Paramount Plus like stuff right now. HBO Max is really weird because they did have a lot of good stuff and a lot of variety. Now they've gotten rid of a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, that's because of Discovery buying them.
Yeah.
Which is stupid, but I think we talked about that last week, right?
Yeah. But I caught some, because I also like went back because HBO Max has the Adult Swim stuff there. So I was watching, and I haven't watched Adult Swim. Like I've been watching I watch Rick and Morty. Just because it's not necessarily like I'm a super fan and I'm a super toxic fan. It's just like, it's weird and interesting. That's why I watch Rick and Morty.
Yeah, I enjoy them.
But I've like lost count of like all the other stuff. I was like, do they still make like Robot Chicken? It's like, yes, they do. And it's like, is it got any better? Or, I mean, I'm not to say it was bad
probably
before.
about the same level as always been, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, it's Robot Chicken, so it's fine.
I want. Yeah, that's all I got. Does Seth Green still do that show?
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much all he does.
I was gonna say, what else does he do?
Well, he did make a cartoon for WWE. That's pretty weird. That's actually pretty good for what it is.
When did he do that? I never heard that before.
Oh, it was like in 2018 or 2019 or something like that. Back when they had their own streaming service before they sold it off for $1 billion to Peacock.
And they're like, yeah, you take it.
And not for good, for 5 years. They licensed it out.
They're like, we'll get it back later. It's fine.
I mean, they literally have right now three $1 billion contracts with 3 different things. They have $1 billion contract.
That's a lot of contract.
With Peacock. They have one with USA and they have one with Fox. And Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia gives them like $100 million a year to run 2 shows in Saudi Arabia. So.
Oh yeah, and then people are mad about that. Like, you can't do shows. They're like, sure we can. Their money spends.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, it was almost okay before because the shows were almost like universally like really bad. I mean, there'd be like one good match, but they were always awkward bad. The last one they did was actually really good. So it's like, oh god damn it! It's like, they're gonna be doing good shows
Yeah.
now.
Is there a show called Off the Top Rope? I hope so. That would be good.
Oh, there's got to be. There's probably some
There should,
podcast.
if
or
there
something
isn't, there
like
should be.
that.
There's also like a podcast called Off the Top Rope that isn't about wrestling. It's about people that hung themselves. Like that's it's a very dark joke, but I'm willing to make it. I don't care.
It's a one episode.
YouTube,
podcast.
come at me. I do it. YouTube, do what you gotta do.
It's a one episode podcast that's never been released.
Yeah, it's like they started doing it, but then the chair gave out. So that's where they failed in their plan.
But like, so I went through like the Adult Swim stuff. So I found like three busy Debras is one of the shows.
That's a good title.
It's a live action, extremely absurd. It's almost like what was that show with like Michael Ian Black and Michael Showalter where it's just
Bella?
like, yeah, it's kind of like that.
I like that show. That's a good show.
It's weird how much
But
that's
they're
like
not-
hung in
they're
the
not- they're
memory, and that's only
It'd
had
be
like
funny
one
if they were
season.
playing the Debras. They're like, you're not Deborah. Yes, I am. And they're wearing really bad wigs.
The first season is pretty much absurd, just all the way through, and like there's not really like consistency. But the second season like is like way better and kind of like gets at. And then there was currently a third season, and then when they were about to buy Discovery, they canceled the fourth season, so that's out.
Well, that's stupid.
Yeah.
They offered to let them come back, but you can only bring back 1.5 Debras. You can't have. Which part should we bring back? I don't know.
One busy Debra.
Yeah, that's it. You can't have anyone else. So okay.
And I also want Smiling Friends was another show. That one's animated. That one's, I think, I'm not sure if that's 15 or 22 minutes. That has some pretty dark humor. It's like a company that like you hire and they be your friends and try to cheer you up. But it's got kind of that uncomfortable animation where things just like look weird and uncomfortable. They have Mike from Red Letter Media play a character who's just like about to kill himself. So the whole episode he's just holding a gun to his head about to kill himself. As they're
That's funny.
As they're like trying to take him to like Chuck E. Cheese and cheer him up.
It's like, come on, it's not so bad. And he's like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Oh, don't make me play skee ball. If I do bad, I'm gonna pull the trigger. I'll do it. I promise. That kind of thing. I like it.
Yeah. Except he's more like he's not as exciting as like, oh well, I guess I should just kill myself.
Low energy, like
exactly.
yeah. Okay. That reminds me. Sorry, a random tangent, but have you ever seen the National Lampoon cover when they had the gun held to the dog's head and like, read this magazine or shoot this dog? Do you ever see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of what my third dog looks like. So that when I saw it, I'm like, that's hilarious. That's a dog that almost got shot in the face. And my wife's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, you don't know about that? Oh well. Anyways, as we were talking about.
What else was? There was some good stuff on. Oh, and I watched through all Miracle Workers. There's 3 seasons of that.
Oh yeah, I wanted to watch that. That's the Daniel Radcliffe, Steve Buscemi one where like they're in different periods of time. Like yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like I don't know. Did you ever watch American Horror Story? Like every season's
it's like an
different.
anthology type thing.
Yeah, but not like every episode. It's like anthology, like seasons rather than episodes.
Yeah, the cast is like the same people, but they're different characters.
Yeah, exactly.
I heard there was a season where there's like Oregon Trail based on. Like that sounds amazing, but I haven't seen that.
That's the best one. The first one's good too. It's like they're in heaven and they're trying to like influence the world, but like they can't directly influence everything. They have to do like weird things with the weather to like get a note into somebody's mailbox. But
and like that's the most they can do. They can't do anything else.
And it just makes heaven into a bureaucracy, and God is just a loser whose parents don't like him, and Earth is like his big shame. But he thinks like, I gave him freedom. Like,
yeah, I guess I shouldn't have. I don't know why I did it.
Second season's like in medieval times. That season's not very good, but it's still the cast is likable. Like I just love that like Daniel Radcliffe is is just now this weird character actor. It's like great.
Yeah, it's like he just does weird shit. Like, why not?
Yeah. But yeah, the third season's amazing.
Is that the Oregon Trail one?
Yeah, it's the Oregon Trail season. So I'm not even gonna like ruin stuff for that. You should definitely watch that. So last time I
would
knew,
like to.
it was on HBO Max because that was a TBS show, but I think it's still on there. I think it's still on there, but yeah, the merger's all weird. So, of course, been watching She-Hulk.
I was gonna say I've not seen that, but like I'm not sure I can get past like the CGI is kind of questionable. So like I don't know. It's fine, but
it's more of a comedy show, so it's like
it doesn't matter as much.
Yeah, you don't necessarily have to like. I kind of just have it on. You don't necessarily have to pay attention to it. So, but I don't.
Did you already watch the Megan the Stallion episode?
Yeah, I've seen them all.
How many are there?
There's only 6 episodes right now, so.
Because isn't the what is her name? The one that plays She-Hulk, isn't she from Orphan Black or whatever?
Yeah. It's
I like that show. I can't think of her last name right now, but she's good. I like her. And then the lady that plays her friend that was on The Good Place, I like her too. But Jamil something, I can't think of the last name. I'm really bad at names. I can't. What's your name again? I don't know. It's like common, right?
Tatiana Maslany is the one. She's plays She-Hulk, and then was Jamila Jamil.
That's it. I don't know why I couldn't remember that. I guess that's how you say it. I just thought she was good on Good Place. I like that show. Yeah. You watched that show, right?
Yeah, I still haven't watched the last season, but I enjoyed it.
You should. It's good. The finale of it's interesting. The way they did it, I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. Was not how I expected. The final shot at Ted Danson just sucking his own dick was bold choice.
For network television.
Yeah, how'd they pull that off?
It's like seeing Spicoli's ass on ABC.
Yeah, I didn't know how they did it, but it happened. Oh, I should mention that I saw the Tenacious D concert on Tuesday. I don't know if you knew that was happening or heard about that, but
no.
That was at the amphitheater in town. And I can't remember what song it was. I think it was Kyle Left the Band or whatever. Like Kyle Gaslight mooned the audience when he was walking away, so that was exciting. And Jack Black brought out like his toy saxophone and fucked around with that for a little bit. But yeah, they were good. It took them forever to get on stage. They like between the opening act and them, it was almost an hour. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And this is on a Tuesday night. Like it's almost 10 o'clock before they go on. I'm like, all right, it's kind of late, but whatever. When is Jack Black ever going to be next to the Cedar River singing? Like, why not? Might as well go. Oh, do you ever listen to Office Hours with Tim Heidecker? Do you know that one?
No, you were talking about it last time, but
yeah. But one of the guys that's on that, DJ Doug Pound, he was the opening act for Tenacious D, and his whole shtick is like he's playing a DJ, but he's a comedian, so he has like comedy songs where he says stupid like corny jokes. Like he's like, yeah, I was dating a waitress, and I was eating her out, and like 5 minutes in, she's like, hey, how's everything tasting? I go, it's fine. And then he goes, and then like after I finished, he's like, can I get you anything else? You want the check? And he's like, what the hell is going on? Yeah, like stuff like that. And most of the people at the concert didn't know who he was, or that's what he did, so they thought he was like just that hacky. And this one guy in front of me, he's like, I hate that guy, I want to kill him. It's like, okay. It's like it's just an act, like calm the fuck down. Or like he had a bit about like how people as a DJ, they request songs, and people request songs from people like R. Kelly or Michael Jackson, people that are problematic. And he's like, I have a little hack. If anyone ever wants you to play a Michael Jackson song, I just play this. And he goes, Michael Jackson touched little boys. Michael Jackson just repeats that over and over again. And then there's like a moaning sound. And he played that for like minutes straight. And people are like, what the fuck? It was pretty funny though. Or there was a part halfway through his set where he like said he was bringing a special guest that was DJ Dark Pound, and it was just him going backstage and putting on a black sweatshirt instead of a white one, and he had a voice modulator that made his voice darker, and all of his jokes are about kidnapping and murdering women. And I was just like, I'm not sure how they picked him to be the opening act, but it makes sense. But like some of the people are just like so confused, like, what is this? Like,
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes comedians are so jaded to comedy that they really get into anti-humor. It's like,
Yeah,
no,
that's what he
it's
was
funny
doing.
because it's not funny.
Yeah, it was extremely funny. Yeah, like it was like one of his jokes when he was doing the DJ Dark Pound one was something about like yeah, this girl I was seeing, she kept asking me to get out of the trunk and I kept telling her it's a one-way trip, baby. I laughed. Nobody else near me laughed, but oh well. Whatever. I guess that means I'm a bad person. I don't know. Who knows? Also, like the last song they did for the encore, Tenacious D did was "Fuck Her Gently." So when I was walking to my car, I could hear them over the river singing, you get "Fuck Her Gently," which was like, what a way to end the night. So exciting. And then the next day, I was so tired I could barely function. It was very exciting, but it was entertaining how many people were at that concert that didn't really even seem to know Tenacious D. They're just like, oh, Jack Black's gonna be here. Somebody
Oh.
dressed up as Nacho from Nacho Libre, like he had the whole like wrestling costume, no shirt, the mask, and everything. And he was like near the front, so Jack Black's like, "What the hell is Nacho doing here?" So that was funny. And like a lot of people were smoking marijuana for some reason, and so like just reeked of weed everywhere. I'm like, that makes sense. Why not?
Oh, that's a Tenacious D staple. So
It makes sense. Yeah, and they had like a backdrop that was like a castle, but like the towers were like dicks, and like the drawbridge was a clit, and like, and like it took some lady behind me. I think it was 3 or 4 songs where she's like, "That's a vagina." So she's very observant, obviously. That's the thing I think.
or
Funny.
she
I don't
was
know if
so
you're.
disinterested in everything else, she finally like was the
She's like,
noticed
"Oh,
the
something I
background.
recognize. I have one of those." Okay. I wonder if that one gets dry too in the winter. I don't know. I'm gonna. Uh, but I think. Hi, buddy. What's up?
Dad, can I have some?
Sure. Why not? Go ahead.
I need help opening them.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
they're sealed.
Yeah, they are. How old is Kermit the Frog, Henry?
I don't know.
You said he was 39,000 years old. Don't you remember?
I don't know how old the frog is.
Fair enough. I think it's like a tree. You cut him open and count the rings. I think that's what you do. He's the frog.
I saw a YouTuber that had
Yeah.
Kermit plush. Turned the Kermit plush into a Kermit puppet.
Oh yeah.
It was still Kermit. It was just going to be a puppet of Kermit.
Henry, do you know that you're on YouTube right now? Isn't that exciting? You know? Okay. He's like, old hat dad, nobody cares. Everyone's on YouTube now. Get with it, Grandpa. But what I was gonna say, I don't know if you've ever been to a concert at the amphitheater. I'm trying to remember if you have,
No,
but
no.
so it's interesting because like sometimes like especially since COVID, they'll get like bigger acts. Like there's no way like that they would be in Cedar Rapids, but the only reason they're there is because it's like an off day of the week. Like it's never the weekend; it's always the middle of the week, and they can't find any other like place that'll let them come perform, and they want money. So like, you know, Tenacious D, like they kept saying, "Oh, we'll definitely come back," and I'm just like, I don't know about that, but maybe. Or like they had like oh shoot, I'm trying to remember now who it was. Oh crap, I'm forgetting now. Oh, Lyle Lovett, that was entertaining. I didn't go to that, but I heard that was funny. Do you know who that is?
I've heard the name. I don't know. Was he married?
So in the 90s,
Was he like married
Julia,
to? Okay.
Julia
yeah.
Roberts. Yeah. So that's like, well, most people know him, but like he's been a singer for like, I think since the 80s, but he's
Yeah.
from Texas. Like he's technically a country singer, like Americana, I guess, but he like his songs are more like comedic and like witty. They're not really straight country songs. His music's actually not bad. I haven't really listened to it, but I heard him on a podcast and he was actually pretty funny. So I was like, oh, okay, sure. So yeah, I think a lot of love it's cool. So take that, YouTube. But anyways, but yeah, you should go because usually the amphitheater, those concerts, like the tickets aren't very like expensive and like you can pretty much see the wherever you're sitting, you can see the stage pretty well. Although where we were sitting on Tuesday, there was like these 4 douchebag bro types that were standing during the whole time the opener was on, and like they wouldn't sit down because they're like, this guy doesn't count. And we're just like, nobody could see anything behind him. It was like, all right, great. And at one point, someone's like, "I'm gonna throw a bottle at their head." I'm like, "Well, that'll end well. Like that's a good idea. Let's get a melee going. That'll really speed up the show."
Yeah, Cedar Rapids not really known for their welcoming audiences.
Yeah, it was weird because like I guess that's not my reaction when I go to something and like there's somebody that's paid to be there, so there's obviously a reason they're there, and they're like, "What the fuck is this? I don't know what this is. Give me stuff I know. Give me comfort food for my soul. I don't know this stuff."
Well, I paid for this. Now I'm going to create my own
17.
entertainment.
Yeah, I want to just be repackaged the stuff I already know. That's what I want. Nothing new or challenging. Screw that noise. That's like I'm trying to remember somebody that works at my work that their parents live like there's condos and like apartments like right across the street from the amphitheater, and like they can hear every concert. They can sit on their balcony and just watch it for free. And I guess like that she was at their condo, I guess, and she's like, "Who would have thunk Bonnie Raitt's pretty good at guitar?" It's like, what? And I asked her about Tenacious D, and she's like, "I don't know what it was. It was just really loud, and they're talking about Satan a lot." And I'm like, "Yep." It's like in the devil, and yeah, yep, that's about right. She's like, "I don't know why people like that. Like, cause it's funny. They're doing a parody. You don't get it." But no, she didn't get it. So, oh well, not for everybody.
There's no irony with the Lord.
No, exactly. It's take it or leave it. Ah, the Lord. Did I tell you that I'm part of a church now? That's exciting. Not that kind of church, though. You should look up. It's called P Sanctuary. The P stands for psilocybin, like psychedelic mushrooms. I read an article. It's just a roundabout story. I'll try to tell it quickly. So, I read an article. I think it was a Rolling Stone article that's really good. People should look up. It's basically about how there's a lot of ex-Mormons that left the church and then they started taking psychedelic mushrooms and they feel better about being abused, I guess. And they started their own church where the whole church is based around taking psilocybin, and the government can't do anything because it's part of their religious ritual or whatever. So basically all they do is go to this church and take mushrooms and like sing and hang out and like talk about how being a Mormon sucks. And if you go to their website, anybody can join this church and they'll send you like a membership card and you can do Zoom like church with them. So I went to the website and signed up. So I'm officially part of the congregation. So that's exciting. So anytime I want on Sundays, I can send you the link. You can watch a bunch of ex-Mormons take mushrooms. It's pretty weird, but it sounds entertaining. I haven't watched it yet. I just signed up the other day, but yeah.
Yeah, there's also there's a church of weed that does that also in Salt Lake City.
Oh, really? Is that something you can watch on Zoom too?
Probably. I only saw the it was on that 100 Places to Party Before You Die. They went to Salt Lake City.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I still got to watch that because I think we talked about that before, and I'm like, is that able to stream somewhere? But probably not. I don't know. Because True TV, I don't know what they're on.
Well, do you have cable or are you just all unplugged?
No, I don't. I don't have cable. I just
okay. So yeah, I don't think you can watch that because I just have cable and I can sign in through my cable provider on there.
Well, if I remember right, whenever it's March Madness, like college basketball season, like True TV has some like other like ancillary play-in games and stuff. So I think they're like owned by Paramount. So maybe it'll be on Paramount Plus at some point.
Well, it's True TV, so True TV is owned by Discovery now because they're part of HBO Max. But I don't think they stream on HBO Max though. So
that's
it's sort of like AEW is on TBS and TNT, but like they don't stream on HBO Max. So
okay.
But there are other TBS and TNT shows that do, but I don't know. There's probably a way around it.
Oh, I'm sure there is, but well, if anyone knows, let us know. I know people are out there listening. Whether you're AI or real, let us know.
It's just
draw
bots.
Me a picture. Yeah.
It's just bots. Bots don't have intelligence. So.
Did we talk about this before? I'm trying to remember. Are you familiar with the Google employee that thinks that there's sentient AI at Google? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think you're talking about last time, but.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, there's a podcast episode with that, which is interesting, but I don't know. I think I talked about that. You're right. Let's see. What have I not talked about? Let's see.
Well, I mean, we're over an hour, so you can stop if you want.
I can go for a little bit longer. Then I have to go pick up my daughter from a dance, which is an exciting thing to do. But just to see like kids act like assholes. That like, oh, all parents get here like this. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I get it. I get it. They're trying to find their own sense of self, so they got to reject everything else and be assholes. I got it.
Yeah.
All right.
We all did it.
Makes sense. Yeah, everyone did it. Everyone listening, don't deny it. You did it.
And it went nowhere. We didn't change a thing.
You're listening to a podcast of two friends talking about random stuff they watched. What are you doing with your life? It's like, thank you for watching. We appreciate it. Listening. However you're consuming this. Printing it out and shoving it up your ass. Whatever it is.
Remember to like, really subscribe, and hit the bell. We need our metrics
up. Whatever. Yeah, hit the bell. Send us a free T-shirt. Don't forget, eat the long john off the floor. Ring, ring, ring. Just so different thing.
Go to belowthecollar.com/Greed Factory. Buy a T-shirt.
Yeah, exactly. I still need to buy a T-shirt. I forgot to do that. Don't be like me. Buy a T-shirt.
I still have to make the T-shirt for Verhoeven Effect. Even that's the only place I actually hawk that we have T-shirts.
Well, do you have a design in mind, or you just haven't got it printed yet?
Yeah, I'm working on the design, but I just got off put by it. But it's like, oh man, is this really all I'm doing? And then I felt like it was too close to something else, and then I just stopped doing it. And
you're like, I gotta find the inspiration again. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've only sold 3 T-shirts, 2 to myself and 1 to my brother, so it's not really a hurry.
Well, I'll buy one, so hurry up.
You don't have to, because it's like, it basically costs like $35 to give me $5, but you do get a T-shirt.
It's worth it, you know.
But it's it's local to the Midwest. It's they're out of Chicago. They just like print on demand. They just have these like printers that they just throw their shirts into and can print it up. And then it's usually
cool.
It's usually like, I don't know, like $8 to $10 shipping and handling, which kind of sucks, but that's just the way things
That's just the way it's set up. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And then if you get like a medium, it's like no extra cost. But if you get like extra large, it'll add like $1 for every extra thing. But you can get up to like the 5XL if you want, so it's available.
Oh wow! You should do what I was gonna say. I don't know how familiar you are with Tenacious D's merch, but I forgot about this. I'd seen it on their website before, but they sell like Tenacious D cum rags for some reason. And they have like vomiting unicorns on it, and then like that was the cheapest thing they sold, so a lot of people had those. And like, oh man, it's gonna get clean over here. I got all these Tenacious D cum rags, and yeah, like somebody bought one, and they're like, I don't know why I bought this. I guess I couldn't afford a shirt, so this is the best I could do. It's like, what am I gonna do with this? But yeah, I was like, what a marketing idea. So I don't know what like the female equivalent could be to attract female listeners, but I don't know if there is such a thing. Well, like a vibrator caddy, or like, I don't know what that would be.
There's kind of interesting.
A dildo shellacker. A dildo. Sorry, what's that?
Well, they have a thing like, because they also run a thing called Pro Wrestling Tees, where like all these independent wrestlers have like their own T-shirt shops there. And, and like when you go buy I'll support like an indie wrestler, and I'll buy like one of their T-shirts. And then they have a thing on there for botched T-shirts, where it's like a misprinted T-shirt, and you just get a random T-shirt, but like you put your size in, and you'll just get a random T-shirt for like $4. And so every time I order like a T-shirt to support a wrestler, I just get like one of those. And so I have a bunch of just random wrestling T-shirts that cost like $4.
Why not? That's fun. It's fun to have random shirts, and like, what the hell is that?
Although I've gotten the Terry Funk You University T-shirt like 4 times.
Apparently they have a surplus of those.
Yeah, a surplus of misprinted Funk You University T-shirts.
What part did they misprint? The FU part, or the
I don't know. They all look fine. Like the only thing I can tell is like sometimes like, oh, this must be slightly off center, because none of them seem obviously misprinted. Although it's like there's like one that was like, okay, this seems a bit discolored, so they probably just like something ran out of paint or something like that. But mostly it's just like this must have been off-centered. But like I just can't tell like what's wrong with them. So
well, at least they're getting it for $4, so why not?
Yeah, it's cheapest t-shirt I own. So.
Did I ever tell you about the ray gun shirt that I got for? I think it was $2. It says Rainbow Jihad on it, and it's like a transgender flag, and it just. I don't know when I haven't only worn it once, and it confused the hell out of people. Like, what is? I'm like, I'm not sure, but I like it. I like that it says jihad, and I like this. It's like this checks all the boxes. It's confusing. Like,
I got some rainbow colored AEW shoes, so
there you go. I can get you that shirt. You can wear it together. It'd be good. Just really go for it. Yeah, Raygun has some weird shirts sometimes, but usually if they're on sale, they're like misprinted ones or like ones that obviously people like didn't get whatever the joke was, and they're like, okay, like you gotta get rid of this. Like there was like they have a whole bunch of. If you're interested, anyone listening, I never bought this. I never pulled the triggers. I'm like, I don't think I can pull this off, but it's like a T-shirt that says "Believe Black Women," and I'm like, I don't know if I could wear this and not get beat up. Like, probably not a good idea. I do believe them, but I don't think I should be wearing it. Like, I don't think it's for me. So yeah, they have tons of those.
They're gonna see you're white and they're gonna think it's meant ironically or something.
Yeah, they're like, what does that mean? Like, you get probably get a lot of conversations wearing that. Like, what do you mean by that? And like, it's just a shirt. Oh, I bet it is. Yeah, it's just a shirt.
It's like people wear like all live matter stuff, where it's like, you know, technically in a vacuum that's a fine statement, but really it's just a weird anti-statement.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense in reality. Like it's like, so yeah, I like they have last time I was at Reagan, which was a while ago, they had like 10 of those in a row, like all these different sizes of the same shirt, like those, you know, Believe Black Women. And I was like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Like I hope somebody bought the shirt, but I don't know. You know what that means, kid? Time to buy t-shirts. Alright, we got help us design this again first, and then you can buy it. Does that mean it's the end of the show?
Yeah, pretty much.
That worked.
Now we're just reaching for stuff. I'm like, I mean, I'm just scrolling through the list. It's like I can't just bring this up for like a 1 a minute. Although there's a bunch of stuff.
As like tune in next time for more of this. You like what you heard to listen to this.
Yeah, there's a bunch of shit on here where it's like, oh yeah, we gotta knock this out. We gotta probably do like when we get the show proper back together with Nathan, we'll do like a 2-minute warning. Because like half these like TV shows, it's like the Hoops Netflix show. It's like I don't even remember anything about it other than it was just like almost enjoyable but not really good.
Yeah, you're like, it wasn't really that great and not worth talking about. But like I wrote it down for a reason. What was that reason?
I mean, like the art style is kind of Bob's Burger, and then like also have like the Great North on here, which is again another like seems like a Bob's Burger adjacent show.
Oh yeah, I like that show. I haven't watched it in a while, but when I watched it was entertaining.
And I
anything with Nick Offerman and Paul Rust and what's her face? I can't give her name now. Why can't I think of it? Anyways, sorry. As you were saying.
No, I was just saying all the things I basically don't want to talk about. We're talking about how stupid the Gray Man is.
Oh yeah, I've not watched that, but I've read about it, and it doesn't sound like something I'd want to watch. But you never know.
I mean, it's entertaining, but it's like ultimately like, wow, this is super stupid.
It's like, who thought this was a good idea? Oh,
well, it's like based on a book series. It's like one of those things where it's like it makes me confident. It's like, wow, did the guy write this book get like a bunch of money for this movie to get made? It's like, I have better shit than this. Like, I should get writing.
Yeah, you should really write some more, honestly. Like, you're a good writer. Do it. If that's getting made, you got plenty of a chance. It'll be fun.
Well, I mean, that's why I don't write anymore, because there's nowhere it'll go. So then I'm just immediately discouraged. It's like, so like the writing process doesn't satisfy me anymore. The idea process does, but then just ultimately can't go anywhere. So then I am discouraged immediately from doing anything.
You're like, what's the point? I get it.
Hey, so this has
That's
been the
yeah.
It's been the American
sorry.
Greed Factory podcast. I'm Conlon.
And I'm Matt, and I'm not a hot dog.
Goodbye, America.